girls and boys. Welcome to another episode of your daily show, Fairy Tales. You know, a fairy always brings us a tale, and a tale is never lost on us. So, how about you join me on a new story and a new tale that's been brought to us by a fairy? Our story today, girls and boys, is called Sir Richard and the Red Knight. Once upon a time, a brave knight called Sir Richard lived in a castle all on his own. Sir Richard was a great warrior, but he was proud and haughty. He had no friends to visit him in his castle, and he lived a lonely life. One day, there was a great thump on the castle gate. "Let me in," a deep voice cried. "I am the Red Knight." Sir Richard opened the gate and saw a tremendous sight. It was a man dressed in red armor. Sir Richard was tall, but this man was even taller. He towered over Sir Richard. The Red Knight had a long red beard and red hair, and even his eyes seemed to glow in flames and brownish red. "Make way, Sir Richard," said the Red Knight, stepping into the empty courtyard of the castle. "I like the look of your castle. I claim it as my own." "Never!" cried Sir Richard, drawing his long sword. "I challenge you to a duel. If you win, you may take my castle. If you lose, you must leave, never to return." "Agreed," said the Red Knight, and he drew his great red sword, which glinted dangerously. Sir Richard also drew his sword, and the two knights began to fight each other in the court. Sir Richard had never fought anyone like the Red Knight before. All his sword's blows bounced off the knight's red armor. Even though the Red Knight was so big, he was also very fast. Sir Richard fought bravely, but the Red Knight struck the sword from Sir Richard's hands and drew him to the ground. Sir Richard had no choice but to leave his beloved castle with nothing more than the clothes on his back and his sword. He staggered into the woods below the castle, weary and sad. Day after day, Sir Richard wandered through the woods. He slept under the tree with a rock for a pillow. Soon his clothes became tattered and worn, and his face grew pinched and pale. One day, when he had gathered up a small pile of nuts and berries to eat, he heard someone approach. It was a dirty-looking old beggar. "Please," said the beggar, "can you spare some of your food?" Sir Richard took pity on the poor man and shared his tiny meal. "Thank you," said the beggar. "Let's travel the land together." Sir Richard agreed, and soon he found it was much easier to find food in the forest when there were two people to look. Sometime later, what happened? We would know after the break. Sometime later on, Sir Richard and the beggar found a horse in a clearing. It was the noblest horse the knight had ever seen. Its coat was a silky white, and its head was held high, but it was limping from a wound on its front leg. Sir Richard spoke softly to the horse and bound its legs with a scrap torn from his clothes. "You can join us," he said to the horse, "and we will take you and take care of you." Sir Richard thought of all the horses he had kept in his stables in the castle and wished he had taken better care of them. "I know what it's like to be cold and hungry now," Richard said and thought. As the days passed by, the horse's leg began to get better, and before long it was cantering around happily and nibbling the grass. One day, Sir Richard, the beggar, and the horse made their way through the woods. They heard a desperate roar. Sir Richard followed the sound and found a great brown bear. One of its paws was caught in a cruel trap. Well, the bear turned its head to Sir Richard, and he saw much pain in its eyes that he felt he had to help. Carefully, Sir Richard walked up to the bear. It did not attack him, but only groaned louder. Sir Richard presently opened the jaws of the trap with all his might. The bear pulled its paws out of the trap. With a grateful look, it lumbered off into the deep woods. "That cruel crab must have been set by the Red Knight," said Sir Richard to the beggar. "I wish I could defeat him and win my castle back." "Perhaps you can," said the beggar. "I was once a great magician before the Red Knight cheated me out of my riches. I still have some magic left." The beggar took Sir Richard's old sword and spoke some strange words over it. The sword glowed with an airy power. "Now the sword will pierce the Red Knight's armor. You go for it." So Sir Richard made the long journey back to his castle. Riding on the white horse, he banged on the gate, just as the Red Knight had done before. "Red Knight," called Sir Richard, "I challenge you. Come out and fight." The Red Knight opened the gate. Sir Richard galloped into the courtyard and battled again. The Red Knight was quick, but Sir Richard was on horseback this time, and the horse was quicker than the Red Knight. Sir Richard was able to deal the Red Knight some powerful blows with his enchanted sword. Just when it looked like Sir Richard would beat him, the Red Knight raised his arm and chanted a spell. Sir Richard found himself pulled off the horse. "Now I will kill you," cried the Red Knight, raising his sword to chop off Sir Richard's head. Before he could bring the sword down, the Red Knight was knocked over by something huge and brown. It was the bear that Sir Richard had saved from the trap. Together, Sir Richard and the bear drove the Red Knight out of the castle. The Red Knight ran down the hill and far away, defeated at last. In a flash, the bear turned into a noble knight. "I was cursed by the Red Knight," he said, "but now we have broken his power forever." Sir Knight reclaimed his castle at last. He invited the knight and the beggar magician to live with him in the castle, and the white horse was given a warm stable and all the hay he can eat. With this few friends around him, Sir Richard was never lonely again. about we have a short break, girls and boys, and get back to our story.
The origins of ice cream can be traced back to Rome in the 4th century. The Roman Emperor Nero ordered ice to be brought from the mountains and combined it with fruit toppings. In the 13th century, Marco Polo learned the Chinese method of creating ice and milk connections and brought it back to Europe. Over time, recipes of ices, sorbets, and milk ices evolved and were served in the fashionable Italian and French royal courts. During the 20th century, many brands of ice cream were marketed on a large scale in supermarkets. Ice cream sundaes have also become very popular desserts with people of all ages.
That was it for today's story, girls and boys. How about you join me same time next time on a new story and a new tale on fairy tales.